The power of a tournament is basically, it becomes really clear to people, oh, this is what the community is all about. You're meeting people from different cities, different walks of life. You're having fun together. You might go on a group bike ride. You might host somebody, or you might stay at somebody's house if you travel. These are all the great community building exercises or components of polo that I really, really love.
It's your host, Gavin, and on today's episode of Courtside, I'm joined by your NAH President, Jordan Bowden, or Bowden, however you like to say it. And they're going to tell me all about their role at NAH as president. They're going to take a deep dive into the structure of that organization, clear up some misconceptions about maybe what you've been hearing out there around the court, and dive into their own personal experience around bike polo and why they play this game and how much they enjoy it. It's going to be an awesome episode. I'm so happy you're here to listen. Thanks for joining me courtside.
Full disclosure, I'm a 1/3 owner in North Pole Bike Polo. And honestly, I think it's great stuff. I always say it. If the aliens ever invade Earth and for some reason the future of the human race comes down to me beating them at Bike Polo, I'm grabbing a North Pole mallet. I find the combination of performance and durability can't be beat. Whether you're a rookie just starting out or you're heading to Worlds, NorthPoleBikePolo.com is the best place to get your polo gear. And I want to give them a big thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Jordan, thanks for coming courtside with me today.
Hey, Gavin, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to get to talk to you, president of NAH, a much esteemed friend and all-around good person. So,
Yeah, super excited to be here.
is it Bowden or Bowden? This is what everyone really wants to know.
It's a strange thing, actually. So it's Bowden. I spent my whole life pretty much correcting people on it. And then when I went with my family over to Europe at one point to see some family members of ours, they all say Bowden. I guess we changed it at some point. It's a whole thing. We changed the pronunciation. So you're both are correct, I'd say.
And you don't have a preference? I mean, I've heard both used.
I mean, you could do Bowden. I've been going by Jobo recently. That was a nickname that's really caught on in the polo world. So Jobo's good too. But yeah, Bowden, whichever works.
Okay. I always like to get the guest's name right before I begin. I think that's
Yep.
really important.
100%.
Let's jump right to it. What's your hottest bike polo take?
Hottest bike polo take. More people should referee bike polo games. Everyone's way better at refereeing than they think that they are. But
You want more people to ref games, and I could see a lot of people being like, no, we need better refs, not more refs.
yeah, I mean, that's an argument. I would say in general, I want people to ref the game that want to ref the game at the end of the day, that have an interest in it and like are looking to build that skill. Those people also don't necessarily need to be the best players in the world either. I think there's a bit of a barrier that people face when they start getting into bike polo where they're like, how do I get involved? How do I help the community? And in some ways, people aren't able to gain that confidence until potentially like years into the process, versus they could, just kind of get started and have somebody teach them. And tournaments would run more smooth overall if we had more people reffing, I would say.
Right. And there is this kind of, I think, this feeling that a lot of beginner players have that they can't ref a game until they're actually like a respected player or a good player. I mean, it certainly helps to have the respect of the players that you are refereeing, and sometimes that is earned on court, but I don't see why that would be the case. I mean, there's plenty of amazing refs in all kinds of sports that probably aren't very good at the games they play.
Yeah, it's interesting sort of concept for sure. I would say what I mean is like people should just get out there and if they can try to gain the confidence. I mean, look, it's not an easy role at all. You do catch shit from people. It's not the most fun way to spend your Sunday afternoon, but to me, it's really fun and interesting. It's been a big part of why I got into bike polo or how I got deeper into it was finding more ways to get involved, I would say.
You got into bike polo to referee bike polo?
I did not get into right, but I got into play and to hang out in the park somewhere. And then from there, it was like a bonus on top of playing was refereeing or helping organize, you know the
Yeah,
story.
and we're definitely going to talk about your organization. I looked into your history a little bit, and I know that you're like a perennial organizer in any niche community that you're a part of. But well, why don't we just talk about that now? Like, what, where does this organizing kind of like gene come from for you?
I just really feel like a lot of things like polo, community-based initiatives, you know, you really get back what we all put into it. So we all contribute, we all volunteer, we all find ways to make this community we're a part of better. And people do it in small ways, people do it in more active ways. People do it in their local club or with NAH or with their local region. But for me, it's been a big part of like I just go deep into something. And part of getting deep into that thing is like finding different ways to help out that community. I've done a lot of things in the past, like both in my own community here. My partner and I are involved in planning a lot of different shows or DJ nights, events, obviously helping out the local club here. I've been involved in like arts organizations in the past, maker spaces, 3D printing. At one point, I was deep into pinball machines. I like organized pinball tournaments. I traveled around doing that whole thing for quite some time. And it's just sort of what I do. I just like to get involved and find ways to help out. It's something that makes like all of this more rewarding or makes me feel better about the whole process for sure.
Yeah, it seems like you really just like to organize people and you like to see the community come together around like a shared activity in a meaningful way.
Yeah, but it's not like it's more like a facilitation process, trying to find like how to make the community sort of move in a certain direction or how to help people contribute in meaningful ways. It's not about like organizing for organizing's sake. It's seeing the results of that at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, the listeners probably don't know, but Jordan has like one of the coolest pinball machines in their living room, and it's so awesome. But can you just like tell me a bit about this pinball thing? I think people are going to want to know what is your history and involvement in the pinball kind of world.
So basically between about 2015 and 2020, I just became completely obsessed with pinball machines. And I started out buying games off like Craigslist or Kijiji here in Canada. When I was living in Montreal, I would like restore them, build them up. I found people to teach me how to fix the games, specifically my friend Rob, that's been like a lifetime pinball mechanic. While I was doing that full time, I was repairing games for a local in Montreal. I was fixing games in people's homes. I was traveling all around the US, playing competitive pinball as well as restoring, buying, and selling collectible pinball machines and like, tearing them apart, fixing them. These are games that go back all the way in 40s and 50s. I really specialized in like antique pinballs, electromechanical pinball machines, not the newer stuff, the older games. But a really fun thing for me to do. And back when I was deep into it, I was organizing weekly tournaments. I was involved in helping out with like much larger tournaments, specifically Pinburgh in Pittsburgh, which is like a 1,200 person pinball tournament. I volunteered over there. I've been finding different ways to help out basically different communities. There, it was a lot of like, yeah, organizing tournaments that have money on the line, tons of people involved, usually 50 people involved in each tournament, maybe more, maybe a few hundred. It's just something that I found really, really rewarding overall.
That's super cool. So you were not only building and like repairing kind of pinball machines, I would say, like refurbishing them maybe, but also organizing these what sound to be pretty massive events.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways they're pretty big events. Like same thing with polo. It's still a pretty niche community. But I mean, there's lots of polo players that also are involved in pinball. Funnily enough, like to be familiar to listeners from Seattle or Portland, it's funny those places are like big polo places and also happen to be some of the biggest places in the world for like competitive pinball as well. So I'm not the only one with this common ground between us. But it's like a fun, niche, obsessive thing similar to polo, I would say. A little bit less athletic. You don't need to be in great shape to be a good pinball player, but there's lots of like niche knowledge, skills, building flipper skills, learning the rules of the game, competing in tournaments, that sort of thing. It's a really interesting kind of sub community there.
Dang, I feel like I could talk about pinball for at least half an hour here, but we better talk about polo. I mean,
100%.
that's
Yeah.
what the listeners are tuning in for. And
100%.
everyone probably is aware who's listening to this. Jordan is the president of NAH, They've overseen the Salt Lake City NAH tournament, as well as the most recent Grand Rapids tournament. I think we're looking at Tulsa this year. For a lot of players, they don't really, maybe they know it exists, they don't really know how it works, and probably a lot of misconceptions I know that I've heard in the community around NAH. Um, so, Jordan, I just want to know, like, what's it been like being the president for the past 2 years?
I mean, it's an interesting role. I would say NAH is quite a small organization overall. Really, primarily what it does is, I mean, its mission statement is like to grow and promote the sport of bike polo, sport game bike polo, whatever you want to refer to it as. But on the core level, we run the annual tournament, the North American Bike Polo Championship, as well as the qualifier series that feeds into that. We also have a rule set which was designed for those tournaments, for NHPPC, as well as the regional qualifier that comes into it. There's also a system of regional reps. Every club is part of a region. Those regions have reps, and that includes like Mexico, United States, and Canada. It's quite a vast region of different clubs and regions that are part of NAH. But at its core, like, what's it been like? It's like a volunteer board role, where we do what we can with the resources we've got. We run the tournament, which is a huge undertaking in itself, running, as you know, Gavin was the tournament director for the first year of me being president. And at the end of the day, it's a huge amount of work that goes into this work. Lots of people do a ton of work behind the scenes to make these things happen. And we do it for the love of the game, the love of the sport, whatever you want to call it. And because, again, we want to support the community. So it's been really fun for me to get involved and to find ways to contribute. If you go back to like what I sort of set out to do, I still have a lot that I would like to accomplish with the NAH. There's a lot more to do. It's also been that like any volunteer board role, like life happens. I've had a lot of like work stuff pop up, things like that. So if you were to ask me, like, have I accomplished everything I would thought that I would want to accomplish by now from several years back when I started? Probably not, but I have more to do as well. So super excited about it. I feel pretty proud of what the community's done over the past couple of years. Salt Lake City went really, really well by all accounts. Grand Rapids was fantastic as well. It's been amazing to see the community come together, and yeah, it's been great.
I'm curious, you say there's things that you haven't been able to do that you still really want to accomplish. Can you elaborate? What are those things?
The big thing I set out to do when I joined NAH was to bring on a membership system, which is not really the most sexy goal, but is really something that I think could help the organization run a lot smoother than it does right now. And that would basically be a formal way of getting involved in NAH as a player. Pretty normal in the world of nonprofit is like the concept of being a member of an organization. Even in NAH's name, it's like the North American Hardcourt Bike Polo Association. It's an association of people. It's kind of an odd structure right now, actually, because NAH has its executive, its regional reps, and then club reps that form that. But we don't really have a direct relationship or a direct way of communicating with players that are part of our community. So this is sort of an idea that I want to bring in. It's not about getting membership fees. Like, at the end of the day, NAH doesn't really have a lot of expenses outside of running the tournament itself. It's more about building a direct relationship with people so that way they could, attend meetings, join committees, just feel like they're kind of a part of NAH. This is something that will require some legwork to get set up, something to attract membership. Maybe there is a nominal fee involved, like, I don't know, throwing around like $5 or whatever period you can type deal. All ideas are on the table, but this is something that, like, if you go back to my, original platform when I ran for NAH, this is a core piece of it. And it has been something that I would love to build out because I feel like it would solve a lot of these, people just want to get involved. They want to know how they can get involved, and having a more regular structure of membership and then perhaps like an annual meeting of some kind is really something that, like, it's very core to running a nonprofit that I think
Right.
NAH would really benefit from. So it's a big priority of mine of this year to get this done. And that way, at the end of the season, we can have like a retrospective, an annual meeting, get people involved. This is something that I really still want to accomplish as president for sure.
That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, I guess it would give you the ability to like communicate directly with the members instead of having to use the rep and then club rep systems.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't replace the club rep system at all. Like there's still club reps and the regional reps as well. Like everyone is still a part of the NAH community. It's just for those people that really want to get involved in the organization and really want to contribute to it and see what's happening with NAH. It's like putting your hand up for the air saying like, look, I'm an active player. I want to be a part of this thing. I want to be a stakeholder in perhaps changes that we want to make or get more directly involved in some capacity. It just gives us more of a direct conduit to that. And we really can speak to in a way, they become the constituents of NAH because right now it's quite an indirect process all the way through regional reps, club reps, then to the player. At the end of the day, they don't really have much of an role in the organization beyond voting through a club rep. They don't know how to get involved in some cases. We've heard this feedback for sure. So I really feel like the membership deal would be a good solution. It's not a perfect one, but it would be a good step in the right direction, I would say, to getting people more involved in the organization.
I'd say so. I know who my regional rep is and has been. And I feel like sometimes, just because I don't live in the same city as they do, things are missed occasionally, even as a club rep myself, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
It's
that we can do to improve communication. I will say, like, the regional rep role is something that, like, I'm really grateful for all those folks that volunteer to do that role. We do have like a private channel that they can get in and they can voice concerns that come from the region. We use those channels a lot to talk about different issues, to, get feedback on things before they're launched, to just generally hear what the pulse is of the community. So the regional rep role is super critical in the structure of NAH. It's really important that if you have any questions at all, or you need anything to happen with NAH, or you have any questions, like go to your regional rep and they should forward those on for sure.
Yeah, and it just gets passed down a bit, right? Like word comes from you to the regional rep, to the club rep, and then eventually getting to the players. And that's a process that can take weeks sometimes, depending on when pickup is and if it rains or not.
It's been great to see like clubs find different ways of communicating. I know there's been a lot of change over the past few years of how clubs communicate. We've gone from like Facebook groups to like Instagram group messages, at least in my region, to now we have like Discords that are set up. Some clubs are using Poloverse, although I think that's mostly a Euro thing. There's been lots of different solutions that have popped up. Again, just improving like if we're a community, sort of what I'm getting at is that there's like an infrastructure or organization of like how we communicate as clubs and as a community. That is something that I think is bigger than NAH, but we need to find good solutions for that overall. Because yeah, you do hear that people are like, I had no idea that tournament happened, or like, how do you find out about this thing, right? I
Yeah,
think Discourse helped a lot for it, but it's still ongoing for sure.
yeah, it's hard to even know where all the events are. And I mean, we have like great people doing work like Bike Polo calendar.
100%. Yeah.
But even then, there's some events that just don't submit, right? So it's really
Yeah, exactly.
challenging to stay on top of everything that's happening. Yeah, you mentioned we've talked about the club reps, we've talked about regional reps, but the executive, what exactly are the roles in the executive and what do they all do?
So right now, we have a very small team. So you got myself, president, Jenny Spencer from San Francisco, of course, is previous president of NAH. She's still involved, handling a lot of communication stuff, as well as onboarding of new people on the exec. She handles a lot of our tech stuff. Ane Santos from Guadalajara is the events director. And recently, David Silverstein from Boston joined as the tournament director.
Oh, sweet.
So that's basically the current layout of the team. It's a small, effective team. We do post roles. Last year, we posted a tournament director role as well as like an assistant events manager role, but we didn't really hear much response. It's a component of it where like it is a big time commitment as a volunteer to get involved in an organization like this. Totally get it. But we're right now quite a small team and on top of that, we have all the regional reps that are involved. And we are talking about some new initiatives or new committees to bring on, finding different ways to sort of restart things like the reffing rules committee, That's ongoing right now. I don't want to put a firm timeline on that, but we're talking about with regional reps and trying to we basically rebuild these committees that haven't really been active for some time, but we really need to get going again as well.
Oh, I think everyone agrees. So we have the rules committee. Are there any other committees that we should be like maybe like allocations committee?
Yeah, I mean, I know that's something that when you're involved, like the regional allocation, that formula is something that I think there's lots of ideas flying around on how to improve it. It's a complex one. I mean, this is sort of what I'm getting at with the membership is it's not like that has to be a precursor to forming these things, but it is a bit like people want to get involved. It's a totally fair question of like, how do I get involved? What's the process for me to get involved in these committees, right? So I think it's a bit of legwork that needs to get done to lay them all out, but there's quite a few that you could form. Even membership itself could have its own group of people. Like at the end of the day, we know what people's availability is like, but we have to make sure we're spreading out these responsibilities so it's not like falling on one person and then we want to have like longevity and like lots of people's ideas coming in.
So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that listen to this. Do you think, like, if they were inspired by this conversation to join a committee or to be more involved? I know the membership system isn't up yet. What should they do?
I mean, start by reaching out to your regional rep, but also my email address is always available. If you're wanting to get involved in the exec or any sort of organizational capacity, like we do need more people to get involved. I know there's a current need for like even helping it with social media, maybe helping a bit with communication. And of course, we do have NAH Bike Polo Championship coming up. We're always looking for volunteers for that as well to help in really any capacity. That could be on the ground or in the lead up to the event. You know, it really takes a village to do these things. So I believe my email address, I should know this. I think it's president at bpa.com, .org. All right, we'll redo that one there.
They can see it on the website.
Yeah, see you on the website. It is what it is.
It's on the website. Now, I want to just double back. We briefly touched on allocations, but there was like a post that NAH put out that had all the different allocations based on 2-court versus 3-court, and it had quite a few comments. And if I was to summarize the most common sentiment, it was essentially like, whoa, that jump in Cascadia is quite alarming. They go from, what was it, 4 spots to 7 spots all of a sudden?
So in terms of how points are allocated for each region and therefore how many spots they get in NAH Bike Polo Championship, essentially how it works is over all of these years, certain regions have accumulated a lot of points depending on how well individual players have competed or teams overall. But recently we made the decision that we were giving 2 spots minimum to each region, which overall doesn't leave a lot of points to actually redistribute depending on the accumulated points year over year. Because each region gets 2 spots minimum, you see this huge jump between 2 courts and 3 because after all the guaranteed spots are distributed and 1 spot goes to the host club, there's not a lot of extra spots. So when you look at the 3-court NAs, that's really more of an accurate depiction of what the existing point system would allocate if it were all based up to past performance. It's true that like Cascadia, for instance, holds something like almost 30% of the prior points. So they would get a huge number of spots in the system. But that being said, we have a regional system that really emphasizes we want players to compete from each region. So we guarantee a certain number of minimum spots. Now, this is something that especially David could talk in much greater detail about. He has lots of ideas on how to improve the system. But overall, that's the current state. Essentially, under the current system with 2 courts, the distribution is more in line with giving each region 2 spots, and then some get 1 or 2 or possibly 3 additional spots. But that's basically what it is. We have not changed the formula over the past 7 or 8 years, and it's the current system that we got.
And I'll add, just out of my experience as tournament director, when I was tournament director, I was pretty intimate with this formula and spreadsheet. And what Jordan's saying is absolutely true. It's actually really challenging to make changes to it because it's all based on like judgments, right? Like every tweak you put into the formula has an outcome that benefits some group and what's the opposite of benefit? Maybe hurts another group, right? And so it's really like your judgment if you're tweaking things as to what's right and wrong. And my opinion when I was doing it, as much as I wanted to change things, was I shouldn't be the sole person making these judgments for our community. But we don't have the infrastructure in place. I mean, the executive is what, 4 people, and we have our reps, but to actually be able to make those decisions is quite challenging because it is a very complicated system, and you wanna make sure it's fair to everyone when you're making those changes.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, I do hear feedback from people on both sides, right? Like, there's so many different perspectives in our community, and you're right, it's a really hard system to balance. And, we do the best we can. Sometimes right now we're sticking with the system we have, but I'd say it's a big priority to try to improve it. But, if you talk to 10 people, they might all have very different ideas on what improvement looks like, just to piggyback
Absolutely, yeah,
off what
you
you're
have
saying.
people from Southwest and Cascadia saying, "We should get more spots, look at the points." And then you have people from other regions saying, "How do they have so many spots? That's not fair. That's not even at all." It just becomes quite complicated quite quickly as to what is actually fair in these situations and what we as a community value. Is it representation from every region, or is it representation based on where the strongest teams and players have historically been? Like, this is a judgment call.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, overall, I've always been very focused again on the membership component and like really building capacity in the community. These things are super, super important though, and the conversations that we need to have. But you're totally right. There's so much complexity involved.
Great. I mean, Jordan, I know you've done so much with NAH, but you've also just done so much for bike polo in Canada as well. Our whole like Eastern Canada region has been just so elevated based on your being a part of our community and doing exactly what you just said, building capacity. And how many tournaments does Northside have now in a year? Like 8, maybe 9 tournaments this year we're gonna have?
I would say so. Maybe more. We'd have to look at it, but I know that it's been amazing to see like just the involvement in various regions in Canada, like pop up through this process for sure. But overall, yeah, it's been amazing to see. Montreal has grown so significantly through like Rad Polo, all the new players that have gotten involved. They're playing so many nights of the week. Toronto has popped up like crazy. Like they're running like yeah, the queer night there is fantastic. They've got like multiple other nights running as well. There's just so much organizing going on that's like really made it a great place to play polo. It is a funny aspect though. We can only play for a certain number of months every year. Here where I live in London, Ontario, we do play. I mean, our club's growing as well. We have, I think we last count, we have about 15 or 16 players, which is great for a city our size. We're playing pickup like multiple nights a week. We're doing tournaments. We're playing indoors. It's been super fun to see just so many people get involved. It's a strange thing. Polo is so strange. It's like I still feel like I'm pretty new to the process, but to a lot of people, like there's been so many people since I started playing that have popped up. It's been so awesome to see.
So, my questions are kind of around, as an experienced organizer with all these different communities, I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there kind of in their town or their city listening to this, wherever they might be, saying, "Hey, I really want to get something started here. I really want to grow the scene in my state or my province or territory." But what advice would you give to people that are trying to grow their club or just their region?
I don't know. I think you can start really small. Like when we started playing in London, I mean, I'm not talking bad about our old court at all, but the Carling court we were at was in pretty rough shape. We had like, it's almost like a potholey, fenced in bit of asphalt that we were playing on. And when I started playing, I didn't start the club here, but we were playing pickup regularly. 5 or 6 people had shown up, and the club had never done a tournament before. It didn't really have players that were like traveling extensively to other places. We had some players from other places that had moved to London recently, that were really interested in growing bike polo here. So we started basically we did, I think, our first tournament, and it started really, really small. And it was just a couple people, like maybe a few, I think we had maybe 6 teams or 7 teams that came. But then over time, these things grow. Like you build capacity in the community, people get more involved. It was for me a lot of organizational work to sort of get the club off the ground. Like we started posting more on Instagram. We found better ways of communicating. We wound up starting a Discord. We just find ways of bringing the community together. And now it's been so awesome to see at my local club that like a lot of that organizational stuff that's being done by others in the club. Basically, you build the capacity, you get the momentum going, and then hopefully, you can pass the torch or find other people to help you out. It's not like very few things were done, like amazing things were done by like one person at the end of the day. It takes a village. It's a true thing. Like you can get something, the ball rolling, but then you find who can help you. And you look around, you say, well, is there anybody in the community that can help us grow this thing? Maybe at our city, are there people that we can bring on that can will help us get a better court? Or in our case, we started playing indoors in London at Silverwoods Arena, a very, very cold arena that's not heated at all in the winter, but it's just an old hockey arena they didn't put ice down in. We first started playing indoors there. I put that together, and that was a huge benefit because now suddenly we kind of became a bit of a regional hub. Players are coming from Kitchener, in some cases Toronto or Buffalo or Detroit, to play with us in the winter. And we started doing tournaments there every year. And really the rest is history. It's been fun to see Forest City Bike Polo become more of a hub regionally. And then now our players are traveling around. They're experiencing how awesome the polo community is in other cities. It's just really, really great to see.
It's cool the power of a tournament, eh? Like
Yeah,
having
for
an
sure.
event in your city, like brings people together and provides them with opportunities for leadership that allows them to grow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be, and competitive is a really relative term. It gets thrown around a lot in bike polo. Like every competition means different things depending on the individual skill level, right? Or like what they want to get out of it. You can still like have a super competitive bike polo game and be a new player. But that being said, you're right. The power of a tournament is basically, it becomes really clear to people, oh, this is what the community is all about. You're meeting people from different cities, different walks of life. You're getting to meet awesome players that come from around the region. You're having fun together. You might go like on a group bike ride. You might host somebody, or you might stay at somebody's house if you travel. Like these are all the great like community building exercises or like components of polo that I really, really love. It's actually what's drawn me to the community. Like I actually am really in polo, if anything, to like have fun and have like amazing experiences in my life on top of like competing. Competing is a big component of it, right? But for me, at least, like I love all of the other stuff that comes with traveling to a tournament or experiencing the awesome community we have.
I mean, that's where like the stories come from, you know? It's
For
driving into
sure.
the city at like 9 p.m. after an 8-hour car ride with your friends and then being like, okay, where are we staying? Oh, this guy's house. Does anyone know him? No, we don't.
Yeah.
And then you pull up and he's got koi fish in his backyard and there's 30 people in the basement, you know?
Yeah. It's an amazing thing. It's just it just takes you such unique places at the end of the day. Like that's the one thing I just love about polo. Like even at tournaments, people that are hosting you bring you such interesting spots. I mean, in Ottawa, we go to the illustrious Carling pub. Is that it? Carling Inn.
The Carlton Tavern
The Carlton. Yeah,
closing.
fantastic place. I hear it's becoming a condo building, but they're gonna
Yep.
rebuild it.
It's
They're
a
gonna
very
try to
sad
rebuild
thing.
it.
This
Yeah,
is like a historic building in Ottawa, one of the oldest taverns in the city. But, you know, intensification has to happen in our downtown core. So
uh, fair
we're
enough.
getting the condo tower. I mean, that's one cool spot. Where are some other cool spots you've been to?
I mean, I was in Puerto Rico recently. That was so awesome to go there for Tropic Classic. Ruby and I went down for actually 2 weeks. It was awesome. We stayed with Jeff Freegan in his house. Yeah, it was excellent. Super fun. I went down with my good friend Neelan, and then Malcolm and Kate came down as well from Montreal, and we just had an amazing time biking around the city. We went on a bikepacking trip with them, and as well, we were on this amazing bikepacking trip with a bunch of Puerto Rican players. Shelly and Miguel also came along. It was just so awesome. It was such a great experience to be down there, and just so unique to play bike polo, like basically right adjacent to a beach. It was insane. So it's a really, really awesome time. Trying to think of some other good ones. I mean, we joke about polo a lot that you'll travel like 10 hours and then you end up in like a park somewhere that has like a public washroom and if you're standing in a parking lot. It's not really about the places themselves, it's about the people, you know. Puerto Rico was genuinely a really beautiful place to visit. And there are great places that I've gone for polo as well, but like other spots on top of that, but it is kind of comical that like a lot of the tournaments it's about the experience you have there, not so much about the place itself for sure.
No, I mean, you travel all that way and then you sit in a park, and it's probably not even one of the nice parks in the city because otherwise, it'd be being used by other groups. So it can be pretty funny. But I always found traveling with polo is just, it's like the ultimate networking tool in these cities, right? Like you get to a city, any major city in the world almost, and all of a sudden you hook up with the club there and you play some pickup, and then all of a sudden you have like, where all the local spots are, you got tour guides showing you around, and you're making great friends too, in a way that is really hard to do when, you're just traveling, staying in a hotel room and seeing
Yeah,
the sights every day.
that's exactly right. No, it's super, super fun. When I went to Queer Classic last year in Toronto, look, we had a great time at the beach. People were playing spin the bottle, you know. It was just such a sweet time. I don't know. I've had such amazing experiences playing bike polo and traveling around. Really, really grateful for that and feel it's a huge privilege to be able to get that opportunity. Bike polo is just it's been so amazing. It's so great. I'm trying to think of some other good ones. There's so many good stories out there. Our region's got some bizarre traditions for sure. Lots of hijinks going on and so on. I don't know how much I can get into that, but you know,
Yeah.
there's always a funny, weird stories that go on that people retell that that just make the whole thing so memorable for sure.
A certain qualifier in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, that was we got thrown out of a local pub, a Newfoundland themed pub. And all I need to know is the bartender said there's way too much weird foot stuff going on. You guys gotta
Yeah.
leave. There's
Yeah.
way,
Wow.
way too much foot stuff for sure.
And the craziest part is it's not just like Jordan and their one friend. It's people from all over the region. You have Buffalo
No, that
players
was
there. You have
there
Montreal
was like
players there.
yeah, it was I mean, of course, Jay Jones was there as well. Um, yeah, it was a great time. But yeah, there's so many funny stories that have happened, so many experiences we've had. It's been so great.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what you've grown to love about bike polo, but it's something that you didn't even know what you were going to love when you probably started playing.
Yeah, I mean, really when I started playing, it was, you know, Ruby and I had moved back to London. We'd been in Montreal for a long time. We had a bunch of family stuff go on. We relocated from Montreal back to our home city of London, Ontario. And you know, for me, it was actually, yeah, like an opportunity just to see some friends, hang out in the park, you know, enjoy a Sunday afternoon. I played on like a pretty, to use a Northside's term, pretty bummy loaner bike for about a year. The Star Trek is an amazing shorty handlebar loaner bike in our club. And I was just playing it to have fun overall. And I started going to tournaments here and there. I think my first tournament was actually the Northside's qualifier in, was that 2021 or 2022? And that was like, it rained the entire time. And there was, I think, maybe 5 or 6 teams in Kitchener. But it
Mhm.
was like an amazing first intro to the whole thing. It was great. I had a great time. So, I mean, overall, it's been a wild journey for me. I've been really just loving playing bike polo and traveling around all the amazing people I've met. So
How
great.
did you how do you learn about it? Like, how did you get started in this game?
I think I ran into my friend Wyatt, who I've known many years. He's a good friend of mine and bike mechanic in London, and he mentioned it offhand, and I started showing up, and some other friends of mine would go and just hang out, and the rest was history, really.
Wyatt has the he was playing on the craziest bike with that, like, floating chainring spacer.
That's the Star Trek. That's the
Oh, is
loaner
that the
Star
Star
Trek I'm
Trek?
referring to. Yeah, so this bike has first of all, it was found at a bike co-op in London, Ontario, but it's a bike polo bike. Like someone had modified it at some point in history to be a polo bike. It has a short handlebar. That's stock from when they found it at the bike co-op.
Whoa.
Because my understanding is that people in the 2010s did play in my city. So similar actually to other clubs in our region where we like are almost doing like archaeology type stuff. We're like finding, like, I think there's some history. I forget exactly the story, but there's some bit about, is it Ashwin finding a mallet in a dumpster somewhere? Is that correct?
Yeah. That's actually a crazy story, but maybe I'll tell that after you finish this.
Fair enough. But so the Star Trek, they worked on that bike as like the first bike polo bike for our club. I mean, it's still, my friend Olivia now has it. Her bike got stolen. She's been riding around on the bike polo bike, on the Star Trek polo bike for quite some time. She's been using the loaner as her commuter and coming to polo in London. But yeah, it uses a chain. It uses a chain ring to actually tension the chain because it's a vertical dropout. So it's it's a pretty interesting bike to ride. It has a very touchy brake. I've gone OTB on that a few times when you start to play. But I think it's an important rite of passage to play on like a loaner bike of some kind. Maybe it's really nice. The clubs that have really amazing, fancy loaner bikes, but there's a component of it. It's part of the culture for sure, I would say.
I'll just describe this quickly. So the chain is obviously too long for this frame. And so what they've done to keep it from, I guess, falling off or dangling is they just stuck another third chain ring in the middle between the two other chain rings. So it creates like a diamond shaped chain. Is that fair to
Yeah,
say, Jordan? Is
that's
that,
fair to
yeah?
say. I mean, it works well. I've never had the chain drop on that thing. It's
Well,
it's
maybe
pretty
we should all
crazy.
be doing it.
It'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think, yeah, it really only works if you have a vertical dropout and you can't tension the chain any other way. But they're pretty common. You see them on like tall bikes sometimes here and there, or like freak bikes in general. It's a whole thing.
Okay, I never seen one before this, but I was starstruck when I saw it.
Oh man,
I'll just tell that Ashwin mallet story. I gotta have Ashwin on this podcast at some point. He's a great person to talk to courtside, that's for sure. But this is kind of like the mallet that revitalized Canadian bike polo by itself. And so Ashwin was digging through dumpsters as he did back in the day as a hobby, and he found a bike polo mallet. And that's what made him decide to actually come out and try bike polo in Ottawa. Without finding this mallet, he said he probably wouldn't have tried. So he found the mallet, played bike polo, and then immediately told all his friends. And those friends all came out and started playing in Ottawa as well. It was an amazing rookie season in Ottawa. We had so many fantastic people join the club, mostly through Ashwin. Now, all of these players have gone on to do some pretty crazy things. One, Matt Petersma, went and was recruited by Ashwin because of this mallet, went and refounded the London Bike Polo Club that
that's
Jordan's a
correct.
part
Yep.
of.
Yep.
Another one, Ashwin himself went and founded Whitehorse Bike Polo, which is thriving now. Then you have Scott, who was a part of that crew that went and built shufflepolo.com that is used by a lot of clubs to host tournaments. Liam Paddock is also attached to that story as well, and he used to host the Northside Bike Polo podcast and DJs a lot of events, especially bike polo events around these parts. Am I forgetting? Well, Nealon, Ashwin's
Yeah.
brother, is also attached, and he's the Northside regional rep and a big force in Montreal. I think that is it. But this mallet that was found in this dumpster, the players that were recruited because of it have gone all across Canada and done some pretty amazing things for bike polo in our country. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
a
I mean,
crazy coincidence.
like when you really think about it, like, I mean, Matt and Sasha Wyatt sort of founded everything in London, but it's very possible that had that mallet not been found in the dumpster, I might not play bike polo because there wouldn't have been a London club. It's a really crazy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, when you start to undo all the layers of what this mallet has spurred on, it's kind of crazy actually.
It's insane.
We'll have to do a whole episode retracing the mallet.
It's a good one. I
It's
love the
so
dumpster
funny.
diving component of it as well. It's nice. It's good.
Well, I mean, those brothers, they know how to dive in dumpsters,
Oh,
that's for sure.
yeah. Shout out to Tim as well in Detroit for
Yes.
dumpster diving pizza.
We could maybe do like a bike polo triathlon at some point, and that could be one of the three
Yeah,
events.
you need to order a pizza, and then when you don't pick it up, they put in the dumpster, then that's your pizza. That's the vibe.
Whoa, I didn't know that secret tech.
That's some good tech for sure.
Let's talk more bike polo. You've been playing for a while now. Do you have any aspirations for this season? Like, what's your qualifier team looking like? Now you're kind of a vet in our
I
region.
mean, yeah, it's funny. I actually been really feeling this year like my play has been speeding up. My shots looking really good. Overall, I'm feeling a lot more confident, I'd say, in my ability to play bike polo. I don't really have like a deep sports background. I played lots of obscure sports growing up, but nothing like a team sport type thing. I'm one of those people. So it's a new thing for me really to get involved. But overall, like I'm feeling really strong on my bike. Justin, Clem and I just won a shuffle tournament in Montreal, like a scoop in first
Congratulations.
place. It was sweet. And I have the pleasure of playing with Justin, Chadwick, and Gabe for the Northside qualifier this year. That's great. A really
It's a pretty good
legendary
team.
team. It's a good team. Like, Chadwick, for those that don't know, legendary player in our region. It's only been playing, I think, for a few years now, but plays fixed gear, got great speed on the bike. Justin's looking fantastic as well. Gabe, amazing lefty player. No, it's going to be fantastic. Really, really looking forward to this season. I'm playing Rumble as well with Chadwick, which will be really fantastic. And then let's see, coming up as well, I'm doing Crown for the first year, playing with Lou from Montreal and Emma. It's going to be so nice. It's going to be good. We got so many good tournaments happening this year, and just really excited to show people what I can do on the court. It's been great.
Yeah, you're going to be a busy person.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of weekends in a row when you're putting those dates back and forth together.
Oh, man.
I want to hear more about, do you have a specific style you play on the court? People probably heard your name in the community and they may never seen you play.
In terms of style, like I do like to take a really long, good shot. I've been trying to work on getting closer to the net overall, but I have a pretty good shot. Been trying to like increase my speed a bit. It's interesting trying to replicate. Like it was an interesting question about like, is there any players you really look to style wise? I'm quite tall, so like I'm trying to emulate other players that have that like height advantage. It's interesting to
Uh-huh.
see Salem play. Recently moved to Toronto, I guess a year or two back. Salem's got a crazy reach for the ball and the ability to like sort of move around on the court and really have a big influence. So I've been trying to sort of learn from that a little bit. You obviously get Gavin, you've got a great strong shot. Like it's been really awesome to see. Shelly, obviously, Shelly's great. I've watching Shelly. I play a lot of defense and a lot of back. So at the end of the day, watching someone that has like a quite a more aggressive defense and ability to get in front of someone's front wheel is really something I've been learning from as well. But also, if you get the ball, for instance, when you're in net, making sure that you're like holding possession of that and turning that into a breakaway opportunity is something I've been
Yeah.
working on as well.
Yeah.
Like these are all like core skills, but something that like a lot of these strong veteran players really like show a lot of these different core skills really well. It's about a lot of fundamentals as well.
Attacking from the goal it's an underrated thing that people I don't think always talk about or think about when they look at a goalie. They're like, oh, stop the balls, don't let the other team score. But being able to play make once you make a save or the ball goes in the corner and you're the first one to get there because you were back there. This is also a super important aspect of being last back.
Yeah, it's something that I've been watching a lot in a lot of different players. And I think there's good examples of that from players in Europe as well that are able to like, yeah, just hold possession on their half and then really turn that into an opportunity as well. It's super interesting to see because I'm very rarely like the one in the whole setup. I've been playing more of that position this year, but on the whole, like I tend to be like to use the 1, 2, 3 terminology, like a bit of a 2 to a 3 type thing. But I'm usually like midfield, I guess, would be the best description of my play style.
Very cool. That's awesome. Let's see here. What else do I have? You know, I think it's time I asked you about some very specific rules that people want changed.
Okay, fair enough.
Legalize goals. What's your take?
I mean, if you want to throw a tournament where you can legalize goals, show it to Thaw, other tournaments, we can see how that works. But really, like, I'm not like the arbiter of bike polo rules. Like, personally, when I see that, it's like, I don't want to see people scooping the ball like from half court. Me as a player, it just doesn't seem fun to me to like see scoops go on. I like the feeling of getting like a nice like shot on the ball and hitting the net. I think if we legalize goals, again, personally, me as a player, we'd see a lot of like bike ball style, like redirects. If you just said all goals are legal, like a goal in the net's a goal, like it would change the game totally. And we have to decide whether or not that's something that we as a community want to see. And the best way to see that is by trying things out at local tournaments, seeing how they work, right? And seeing if it's a change we want to make or not,
You can't just arbitrarily change the rule book.
I cannot know. We have
Good. I think it's
yeah,
very important we're clear on that for everyone listening.
fair enough. Fair enough.
I won't ask you any more silly questions like that. I know that all those rule changes and even format changes are things that need to be discussed, and stakeholders need to be brought in and committees need to be formed because those questions are too big for just one person.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's why we have the system of regional reps that we do. And we have an exec team that really helps like guide. It's almost like we're putting questions forward to the community. It is a bit of a difference with the NAH system that we do have a system for voting on rules and a system of like regional representatives that can feed on different points to the exec for sure.
I really like that. Is there any other things you got to get off your chest here or stories you wanted to share when you came courtside with me?
So many of the funny stories in our region rely off of the wonderful Rumble by the River in Crillon, Quebec, which has just gotten to be such a bizarre but memorable event every single year. I've gone to Rumble for, I think, is it 3 years now? I missed the first year, which had the famous Derecho tornado thing where like a tree went down and everyone had to survive off of poutine for several days. But it is just the way it's told to me. But that being said, every single year, there's some incredible amount of like inclement weather or weird goings on that happen. Last year, I remember I've recently picked up DJing. It's 2026, like everyone's got to be a DJ. So I had like some gear out and the weather was just like gorgeous out, like super sunny. It's totally fine. Great. And we had some gear out. We were underneath one of those like pop-up tents, just having a great time. Players in the court, games moving along. And then out of nowhere, this freak storm came in and was just immediately raining and hailing. And then a big gust of wind came in and tore off all the tops off of our pop-up tents. With some great video out there, people like huddling under a tent as hail is coming in. But what's funny about this is it doesn't even really register in like the long-term weirdness of Rumble. Like this is like last year was like, oh, it only hailed. We only lost like 5 or 6 pop-up tents. It's like plenty of
Yeah,
nothing. But like
I
it's
was
yeah.
I was there. I have no recollection of this occurring
Yeah,
because
it's overshadowed by every other weird thing that's happened for sure. Like I mean, we all took shelter in that barn and then afterwards it was like, well, we gotta get playing games again.
Rumble is a very unique tournament. I would advise anyone who doesn't take bike polo that seriously to come play. It's
100%.
it's almost more of a festival vibe and a story creation vibe. I don't know. It's just a very odd thing, and
Yeah, like
it never ceases to surprise me what's happening. I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be going down in a few weeks now.
it's gonna be great. Yeah, I mean,
Yes, it will be.
it's gonna be so good. I mean, also notable at Rumble is the 90-plus-year-old man that DJs at the local bar. Just like such a fundamentally weird place. I mean, it's great. The townspeople are like, they're so fun. Like, it's a great place to visit. It's a beautiful location right on the river. But like everything, especially Gavin's hotel, has this like very Twin Peaks kind of vibe. And yeah, it's just such a unique experience to go up there. One tournament among many of very unusual places you could visit playing bike polo, like a pretty small town in Quebec that you have no reason to go to otherwise, except for that there's a court there and they last camp in a public park,
Well, and the
you know,
ferry.
and the ferry, Danger Cable, it's a cable driven ferry that crosses the Ottawa River. It's pretty crazy for sure.
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of people actually use that ferry on a regular basis. So
Yeah, fair
there
enough.
you go. Jordan, I just want to say thank you so much for everything you do for bike polo, for our region, for your community in London. Everywhere you go, it seems like good stuff is happening. And even if they're not meeting you, people are meeting other people and building connections that will last them forever.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Just thanks
No.
for coming to sit in courtside with me today. I really appreciate it. I know all the listeners do too.
All right. Thanks so much, Gavin. Really appreciate it.